Hello and welcome back to the channel. Happy almost spring. I am feeling the spring market come on really strong this year. Spring is when we have so much inventory and also when a lot of buyers are looking because school's about to end. So if you are looking this spring, definitely go ahead and reach out to me because I would love to help you find something here in the DFW area. But today is also going to be super helpful because if you are looking to find new construction under $500,000, that is what we're talking about now, and I'm going to show you where you can find it in the DFW area. But before we get into it and where you can find the new construction, I want to tell you why so many people are looking at new construction and why my buyers personally are really shopping new construction this spring. Number one is these builders are offering really incredible incentives. They may give buyers $20K to play with. So $20K towards closing costs, $20K off the price, $20K to use towards a rate buy down to buy down that rate. So that is really, really helpful. And then another thing is, some of these builders are going to offer you a lower rate. They are doing so much volume in a neighborhood, so they can do something like this. But for example, one of my clients just went under contract in a neighborhood I'm going to tell you about. And they locked in a 4.4 something interest rate the first year, and then they locked in a 5.49, I believe, for a 30-year fixed rate. And that makes a huge impact when you're comparing something to the pre-owned market that may have like a 7% rate. So they got a lower monthly payment and that made them feel a lot better about it, but that's an incentive that you can only get in the new construction world. Another thing is people love those builder warranties. I mean, you can get a pre-owned home and you may have to do some repairs over the next 5 years, but if you buy something that's new construction, you typically get like a 1-2-10 warranty, 1 year for all the cosmetics and workmanship, 2 years for all the systems like plumbing, piping, all that good stuff, and then 10 years for all of your structural needs. So that's another reason why so many people love new construction. And last but not least, who doesn't love a new home? Nobody's lived in it before. You got a new home. A lot of times you're going to be buying in a new neighborhood with new schools. So just lots of newness. And that's why so many people are gravitating towards new construction. So I wanted to start off by showing you a map of the DFW area. And I want to show you where new construction is happening. And if you notice a trend here, it is all around DFW. It's all around Dallas, on the outskirts of the Dallas area. So those suburbs that you know and love and that are really close to Dallas, like Richardson, Addison, Plano, Frisco, Capel, Flower Mound, those areas are really you're not seeing a lot of new construction, especially under the 500,000 mark. You will see new construction in those areas above 500K, but if you're wanting to stay below 500K, you really do have to go to the outskirts. So I just want to state that so you can see it. I'm not just making this up. Like really, we cannot find anything new construction, single family at least, unless we are looking on the outskirts. So I'm going to show you a couple places today where you should look and a couple good places to find really great deals. So let's hop on into it. The first area that I want to mention is one where my clients just got an insane new construction deal. They are working over on the west side of DFW, and so Northlake and Argyle and Justin were really attractive areas for them. We looked at several neighborhoods in Northlake. We looked at a couple in Argyle. Personally, what I saw is there's not a whole lot of new construction in Argyle ISD and in Argyle under 500,000. You can find some things above like 700, 800, but I'll tell you why is because Argyle ISD is one of the best in Texas. It's one of the best in DFW, but one of the best districts in all of Texas. So a lot of people who are living there are really paying to be in that amazing school district. But a quick and close by neighbor is Northlake. And Northlake is Zone 2 Northwestern ISD. Really, really good schools there as well. So a great alternative, which is why my clients stuck to the Northlake area. We looked at several different neighborhoods. A great one out there is Harvest. Another great one is Pecan Square, which they ultimately decided on. But they got a killer rate. Let me just tell you, we negotiated the heck out of this deal. We got them appliances, fridge, washer, dryer, some extra things within the house, and they also got a really, really great rate. We're talking like 4.4 something, and then a 5.5 something fixed for 30 years. So really incredible, and that was with, drumroll please, Highland Homes. And if you know me, you know I love Highland Homes. They are my favorite builder in all of Texas. Incredible work, incredible customer service. I could go on and on and on about them, but they're also giving insane rates. So if you were looking in Northlake, if you like the idea of Pecan Square, if you love Highland Homes, you better send me a message right now because I've got some killer ways to get you some great deals over there. And I've got great relationships with those sales reps. So if you want to work a little something, work a little magic, give me a call. I'd love to help you. The second suburb we're talking about is Celina. I feel like Celina is Brielle. Of course you're going to talk about Celina. And of course I am going to talk about Celina because you got a lot of land up in Celina. And when you got a lot of land, you got a lot of development. All the developers flood to where there is land for these huge master plan communities, and Celina is an obvious one. You've got huge communities out there, lots of amenities, really great schools. You're super close to Prosper. The only negative that I'll tell you is you're going to have some growing pains on 380. 380 is that whole little area up there around 380. You have a ton of new communities. You have a ton of new development, and it all feeds onto 380. All of the traffic from these neighborhoods feeds onto 380, which just makes your life a little bit miserable in the commuting hours. You may find yourself sitting on 380 for quite a while, and that's what I've heard from some of my clients. So, there's always a caveat. You get new construction, you get a great price, but you're going to be sitting in traffic for a little bit longer. I mean, tomato, you got to pick one or the other. So that is the only con, I would say, with Celina and those suburbs even north of Celina. Like Aubrey is another really great one. Sandbrook Ranch is one of my favorite neighborhoods in Aubrey. Really, really great. I've had some clients buy in there as well. But yes, so Celina is also where you can find some really great new construction options. I've got several neighborhoods in mind that I'd love to share with you, so definitely reach out to me if you're looking in the Celina area. All right, a third one you may not have heard of, and it's a very specific neighborhood. Beazer is the main builder here in this neighborhood. It's called Valencia on the Lake, and it's in Little Elm. And Little Elm is just below 380. So I think this is a really great spot because you're below 380. You don't have to deal with all of that traffic. You're super close to Frisco. It's a really, really great location. And this neighborhood specifically is really quiet. It's by the lake. I mean, it's a really good spot, and I've got some clients under construction here right now, which is why I know so much about it. They've got pretty good amenities. They've got a new school that's coming that's going to be built in that neighborhood. So I think this is definitely one to watch and keep an eye on. If you want to live closer to Frisco, if you don't want to live as far north as, the suburbs above 380, I think this could be a really, really great option. And you've got bigger single-family homes here. And I'll tell you, the thing about Little Elm is, Little Elm does not have as great of schools as Frisco, but for people who are wanting to live closer to Frisco, you want to be close to all of the development, all of the, fun things to do in the city, which, Frisco is kind of becoming the north city of Dallas. I think Little Elm is a great option because you can still afford a bigger house, bigger square footage for a cheaper price, and you can have, a better location than being like so far north, above Celina or in the Celina area. So I think it's a really great option, and Beazer has been really good to work with so far. So I think that's a really good neighborhood to look at. And just for example, those homes are starting in the 440s. They range between 3 to 6 bedrooms, 2 to 4.5 bathrooms, and about 1,875 square feet, all the way up to just under 4,000 square feet. So you got some really good options there, and it's going to be new construction. You're going to get the warranty. They've got really great incentives going on right now, too. Specifically for Beazer, they are offering 3.99% for your first year interest rate, which is really, really awesome. So definitely reach out to me if you'd like more information about this community. Like I said, I got some buyers who are building here now, and we've been really happy so far. They've been good. So let me know. Number 4 is McKinney, obviously. Celina and McKinney, it's like Brielle, of course. McKinney is a gigantic suburb. If you look at her on the map, she's a biggin. She's a biggin. She's got a lot of room out east. She's got a lot of room up north. So you're seeing a lot of new construction neighborhoods pop up here. And I'll tell you, I know that some of these neighborhoods are going to feed onto 380, but I'll tell you, when you look at 380 as a whole, The western side of 380 is far worse than the eastern side of 380. And I'll tell you why. That little peninsula that goes down and then feeds onto 380, it's over by Little Elm. I think that whole peninsula is Oak Point / Little Elm. It's kind of like the mix of the two. But there is like one gigantic neighborhood in that little peninsula. It has one stoplight that feeds onto 380. Can you even imagine coming from that community with like thousands and thousands of homes and residents feeding onto 380 with one stoplight? So that's my warning. If you're living in that area, you are warned. Consider yourself warned right here. But the eastern side of 380, as I was saying, is really not that bad. You just don't see as much traffic over here. Probably because a lot of these new neighborhoods are feeding onto 75 rather than just 380. So kind of relieves a little bit of that pressure on the eastern side. So McKinney is great. I love McKinney ISD. Really great ratings there. You've got popular neighborhoods like Painted Tree is a really, really great one of my favorites. Trinity Falls is another one that I just cannot believe that they're still building there. Mostly townhomes now, but Trinity Falls I feel like has been building homes ever since I got into real estate in the DFW area, which is just very funny to me. But really popular neighborhood. And those two specific neighborhoods, Painted Tree and Trinity Falls, I think they're a great case study just because there is so much demand for both of these neighborhoods, and Trinity Falls has been around for a minute, let me just tell you. But people still call me to this day and they're like, Brio, we love Trinity Falls. We want to live there. And I think why is because you have a very diverse selection of builders. You have a lot of different variety as far as price point. You have a variety as far as single family homes. You've got 1-story, you've got 2-story, you've got townhomes. I think they have apartments in that community now too. So you just have a lot of diverse housing options. And I feel like that's why those neighborhoods are so popular. So sometimes I will caution my clients on, buying new construction in a really small neighborhood with just one builder and like 1 or 2 styles of homes, because I just don't feel like you're giving yourself enough ceiling to appreciate. If everything's the same and you just don't have a whole lot of selection of it, it's not going to appeal to as many people as a huge neighborhood with lots of builders, lots of selections, lots of price points. And so I think the difference there is I would say you're always going to be better buying in one of those bigger neighborhoods with lots of variety versus a smaller neighborhood with less variety. And you'll see both of those two neighborhood styles in McKinney. So it's just kind of something I would watch out for because you're seeing more and more of those cheaper builders only building in one neighborhood, and I just don't think that's great for future resale value. So just something to look out for, in my opinion. Next, we've got Princeton. Now, Princeton is further east of McKinney. There is one new construction community in McKinney that I would recommend. There's several different versions of it now. I think it was originally East Ridge and then South Ridge and then West Ridge. But that's a really popular area, and it's on the border of McKinney and Princeton, just to show you how close Princeton is to McKinney. So that's another really good new construction community if you're wanting a lower price, and it's zoned to McKinney ISD, which is awesome. Now, Princeton, on the other hand, Princeton is a suburb that is a little bit further east. They are having some pretty intense growing pains. Their city issued a memorandum delaying new construction starts for 120 days. That was back in September. That was ending in January, right? That 120 days was ending in January. They actually just extended that for another 6 months. And that basically says, hey, we are not accepting any more new development for the next 6 months. So the city can catch up and come up with a plan to get more infrastructure. Because what they're struggling with out there right now is they're struggling to get water. They're struggling to get schools open for all of the people that are moving there. They're struggling with safety, so police department, firefighters, that kind of thing. So they got some problems over in Princeton right now. And then hopefully it's not going to last forever. But if you were a buyer and you were considering Princeton, yes, really great deals out there, very low cost of living, lots of low cost new construction. But on the flip side, I think that's going to come with some negatives, and you're going to have to deal with not having a whole lot of infrastructure, and that's going to come in many forms. So, we're not just talking about having enough restaurants. We're talking about, the schools are going to be packed. they're struggling to come up with new schools. You may have some water issues. You may have some internet issues. I mean, just that kind of thing you may see in Princeton. So if I had any buyers buying out there, I would maybe suggest some other areas lovingly, just because I think Princeton's got to figure out what they're doing before I would recommend my clients to go under contract out there. Just my 2 cents, just my thoughts. You can disagree with me, but that's just my opinion. And what I'll do is I'm going to link an article here that talks a lot about Princeton's history and kind of how they got to where they are today and what the game plan is going forward. I thought it was super interesting, so I will link that down below if you are interested and want to give that a read. Well, I'm going to end it here on Princeton. I'm going to do a part 2 of this video, and we're going to talk about the southern suburbs of Dallas. So if you were looking below Dallas, think like Midlothian, Forney, Royce City. We're going to do the southern region and the eastern region next video. So if you are interested in that, if you're looking in those areas, definitely stay tuned for that video. But if you are looking for new construction in general in the DFW area, I would love to help you. Would love to help you score an amazing deal and get you into a new home this year. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.